Good morning everyone. I'm just going to double check that we've got live feed going, so if someone could give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. There we go. Thank you so much, Lisa. How are you today? Right, hope everybody's well. Nice to see everybody. I've got Alex here with me. Hello. He's going to be joining with me. It's much easier that way because if I just talk to myself, I assume that everyone's doing a great job and I assume there's been no hiccups, but if I can see what he's doing, then I might remember something that I've totally forgotten. So I hope you're all well today. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me. If you are one of my primary 4 to 7s from Dunbarney Primary School, this is my upper school day today on a Tuesday, so we technically would be in class if this was any normal situation. So good morning, I hope you're all well and keeping happy and healthy. If you are not one of my primary 4 to 7s from Dunbarney Primary School, you may well be joining us from another school, like Abernethy Primary School. So good morning to all of Alex's friends. It's great to see you. If you're from any other school in the region, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have lots and lots of fun today. Now, I would also like to say a very big good morning to all of the mummies and daddies who are letting you borrow their phones just now, or their iPads just now. Thank you so much. And if you want to join in, you are more than welcome. You'll probably be getting shouted at in a second to run and get something out of the cupboard that they forgot. And last but by no means least, be on our best behaviour, boys and girls, because I've got a funny feeling that we will have some teachers watching. Yes, I am spying one from Balhousie Primary School, the gorgeous Mrs. Gibb. Hello, it's nice to see you, Mrs. Gibb. I've not seen you for ages. So, thanks for joining us, as I said. Today we are going to try and attempt to do a watercolour painting. That's a big ask. Not everyone has watercolours at home. So if you don't, please do not stress. Primary 5 at Dunbarney 2 weeks ago, they did the second part of this lesson without any background colour. So they did it just blank on white paper. If you don't want to colour in the background of your paper, totally fine, but you're going to have to bear with us during step 1. And one thing I would say is if you don't want to use watercolours, if you want to colour in your paper in any other way, pens, pencils, chalks, oil pastels, go for it. But do not, my big recommendation here is do not use liquid paints like are in the tray here, because you need to have them dry for step 2 and 3. It's really important that they're dry. The watercolours we will try to leave as long as possible before we attempt step 2. I had a wee brainwave last night. I've brought down my hairdryer just to dry off any puddles of water that might be existing. Or if you want to use kitchen roll, I've never done that before myself, but if you want to use kitchen roll to mop up any puddles, that's also going to work great, I think. I'm sure it will. Right, so apologies to if you are one of my Dunbarney boys and girls. You possibly have done some of this lesson before, but because of the virus, I know primary 6 and 7 started this exact lesson, but they never had a chance to finish it. So this might be brilliant that you'll be able to go with that. Primary 5 at Dunbarney, you've done the second part of this lesson, so you've not actually done the first part, so that will be great for you. Primary 4 from Dunbarney, you've not done any of this, and I have to share a wee secret with you. I wouldn't normally do this with primary 4. It's a bit tricky. But the people that I'm noticing have joined us from primary 4. They're going to breeze it. In fact, they'll probably do a better job than I will. Yeah. So thank you. Now, there's lots of people commenting. I'm just going to say that I am rubbish at multitasking, am I? So if I don't say hello and if I don't answer your questions, I do apologise. I'm going to try my best to take little breaks down again and look at the screen. Also, I didn't get into bother yesterday, but I got myself in a bit of a pickle because I didn't understand that Perth and Ross don't really like using Facebook for things like this. So it turns out that we shouldn't really be saying pupils' names on live feed. It also says that I shouldn't really be putting up photographs of pupils' faces. We're still trying to work out if that's okay or not. I don't know if by parents signing up to this sort of thing, that automatically means that you have granted permission for that sort of stuff. that all goes totally above my head, but we're trying to find out from the big wigs just now if what the story is basically. So for now, I will not say your name live stream, and I will not put any pictures up with faces, but I can see all the lovely messages, and it means so much. So if you are a certain Master and Miss Godwin, hello. If you are a certain Miss Gilmore, hello, nice to see you. But I can't say your first name. Right, let's get cracking then, shall we? So, where are we? We have got a couple of options about to happen. Now, normally Mrs. C would normally do this over 2 lessons, and I'm going to try and squeeze this into one. I think it's doable because in class, normally I would show you something, the whole class crowded around a tiny little table, and you would disappear and get on with it. Today is going to be totally different. We are, hello Mr. Jones, hello Miss Isla. Oh no, I did it. I knew I would do that. Hello Miss Ewan, sorry, apologies. Right. Me, my big mouth. So, masking tape. Now this is an optional extra. I love using masking tape when I'm using watercolours. It masks off a beautiful professional edge. If you don't have it, don't stress. But we're going to try our best to use it. Now, it's paper tape. So you don't need scissors for it. What you have to do, once I find the end, what you have to do is use your fingers. So I always say to the boys and girls in class, that's it Alex, to use your fingers like you are a crab. So like you have, oh nice work. So like you have got pincers and crabs. So if you put your fingers really close together, pinch that tape and just give it a wee bend, it rips perfectly. Never to snap. Oh, we've got poor network connection now. Just gonna wait for a second for that to, no. There we go, we're back again, poor internet connection, that's not gonna be good. So if you try and pull the tape, chances are you will not be able to break it. One more thing, get those scissors away, scissors are banned right now. One more thing, when you do pull the tape, this isn't great tape, is yours better? Can I have your tape for a minute? My tape's going all stuck on the edges. One thing with the tape is when you pull it, actually, I'll show you that bit in a minute. Ignore me, I'm nervous, I'm blethering. Right, so what we're going to do, pull the tape. We are going to mask the edge of our paper. Now, at the end, at the very end, look who's watching. He shouldn't be watching, he should be on a walk with Mirren and Harris. Mr. C. It's made me nervous now. Get that off your mouth. At the very end of this, we are going to have to take this tape off. And if I say to you, take your tape off, you're probably, chances are, going to forget what order you put it down on. So when you put your tape down, I want you to think about the position of the body. So we're going to stick it down top side first, then side, doesn't matter if it's right or left before you ask me, right, left, then the butt goes last, okay? So we're going to mask off the top of our paper first. So I am pulling enough tape and I'm laying it above my paper, not on the paper, above the paper. And I'm making sure that I've got enough tape. Now what I'm going to do is get my pincer fingers again, and I am going to quickly tear that tape. Now I haven't picked it up yet, and I haven't masked off my area yet. When I do pick it up both hands at the same time, like that. Because if you don't, if you hold it with one, it's probably going to spiral round and end up being a big masking tape ball, okay? So measured enough that I know I'm going to need. I'm picking up left and right at the same time, keeping it nice and tight, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to mask off the top of my paper. Alex, could you stop fidgeting, darling? You're making a little noise that we don't need to hear. You're masking off the paper, you are not masking off the table. So what you're doing is you are trying to place that on top of the paper. The tape is semi-transparent, so you should see the paper coming through, and you'll have 1/3 on the table and 2/3 on the tape, on the paper. Now I'm going to smooth that down, get rid of all those air bubbles. All those air bubbles, okay? Now, I'm going to do the 2 sides next. If you want to watch me do this and then go away and do it, it's fine, because I'm going to have to help Alex anyway. So I've done the top, so I'll show you again with the sides. So I'm pulling the tape first of all. I am measuring it next to the paper, not on the paper. Because if you stick it down too fast, chances are it's going to be squint and it's not going to be on the paper. I should have said at this point, before you start all this, make sure your paper's actually straight. Because if you stick it down on the table squint, you're going to have to work squint. Also, if you have it hanging off the edge of the table, what are you going to stick the last bit onto? Okay, so make sure you've got your paper positioned on the table in a place that you would be happy to work on it. Okay, hello Miss Williams. Right, we are going to pick up the side that I have just torn in, again, picking up top and bottom at exactly the same time. Okay, and again, I'm placing it along the edge of my paper, but I am using 1/3 or 1/4 of it on the table and 2/3 on the paper, and I'm smoothing that out so that we get rid of all those air bubbles. That is a really important bit. If you have got a bump in your tape, the watercolours are going to seep under it and you're not going to get this edge. So that was a complete waste of time. Oh. Alex, you are away to do the side first. The child never listens. What side should you be doing first? Top. Honestly, why did I bother? Right, I'll help you in a minute. Okay, so side, I'm going to go from my left side now. Right, well, I'm showing the boys and girls and the mummies and daddies and the teachers as you do your top. So again, lift it up. 1/3 on the table, 2/3 on the paper, and just get rid of those nasty air bubbles. Okay. Good news is, if you are at Dumbarton, you've done this before, so you'll be finding this easy peasy. If you're from Abernethy, you've probably never done this before, and you're probably making a complete muck up of it like this one. Excellent. Perfect. That's alright, don't worry about the corners. The corner, you'll catch the corner when you do the other side. Right, let's try and do this bottom now. This is the longest bit. If I do this in class, this normally takes half the lesson, because not everyone has a roll of tape, and then you'll start fighting over who's getting the tape next, and it all kicks off, doesn't it? Now, measure it on the table.
I do.
Okay, you're measuring it on top of your paper. Take it away. Take it away from the paper. Pull it up. And then give it a wee tear with your fingers. No, did I stamp it? Don't embarrass yourself. Can't wait to see how much masking tape's kicking about everyone's houses at the moment. Right, bottom now. Measure, give it a wee tear with your fingers, and we are good to go. Now I'm going to hold this up. I got lovely feedback from somebody yesterday saying, could you please hold up your examples after every step? Totally going to do it. So I have stuck it onto a chalkboard for you. Okay, so there you go. Can you see that okay? Right. Okay. Alex, are you alright? I've done a great job, but now Alex has done his bottom before he's done his second side.
Oh.
If you have mucked up and done an Alex, don't stress about it. Just try and remember what order you put your tape in, because at the last step you're going to have to take all this tape off. And it's nice to remember what order it is. What are you going to do?
I'm just going to do it all.
That's not long enough either. You've not measured it properly. Measuring. Right, measure the table and then lift it up. See, this is why I'm glad I've got him, because I'm assuming now that a few of you are maybe making these mistakes as well. I'm hoping not too many of mistakes as well. Right, this time round, measure on the table, pick it up, and there you go. Try and keep it straight. Keep it straight. Excellent news. Right, have you got any air bubbles? Smooth out all those air bubbles. Super duper. Right, boys and girls, mummies and daddies, Mr. and Mrs., Ms. and Mrs., we are going to move on to step 2. If you, by the way, I'm going to post this afterwards so you can catch things up. Also, if you need to, I don't know if you can pause live feeds. I don't know if you can do that or not. I don't have a clue. I'm rubbish with technology. It's amazing I'm even doing this, to be honest. You don't think you can? Right. So you can always go back and double check things. Don't stress about it. And I can always post instructions on later. And if you're a teacher, by the way, I haven't put any technical jargon up like success criteria and learning intentions, because it wasn't really a CPD thing. Well, it wasn't supposed to be a CPD thing. It was supposed to just be for my little boys and girls at Dumbarton, and then it's just grown arms and legs. So if you do want to know any success criteria or anything for your folders, just private mail me and I'll sort you out with that. Right, next up. This only really will work with the watercolours. Okay, so again, if you're not using watercolours, just bear with us. Before we prepare our background, we are going to do another bit of masking, but this time it's in a different way. So, I said to you last night, if you watched me, just to get some cheap photocopier paper, not your nice cartridge. Don't waste that. So I've got a wee bit of paper. It could just be a bill that's named to go in the bin. Use that, because this is going to get chucked in the bin at the end. What you're now going to do is you are going to create a circle, a cut-out circle that you are going to use for your sky. It could be a moon, it could be a sun, it depends what time of day you are planning on having your landscape. So I am going to draw around my, you sit still just now and do them once I finish the steps because you're making too much noise in the background. So I'm going to draw around the inside of this sellotape. If you want to use a cup or you've got another template, go for it. It really honestly doesn't matter. Just double check that the size of the circle will fit on your paper. If it's bigger than the paper, that's going to look ridiculous. Talking of the paper, by the way, gosh, I totally forgot. We've gone for A4. You don't have to do A4. If you are sitting there right now with a long strip, they look beautiful on long strips. If you've gone massive and you've gone A3, good luck, but I don't know how you're getting on with the masking. You're probably still doing that right now. So don't worry if you've not gone for A4. Don't stress at all. Right, but make sure when you do your circle that it fits on the paper that you've got. Alex, just draw around the sellotape like I've done, please. I don't want you using the marker. I don't want you doing that yet. No, draw around that. Now we're going to cut it out. And when you cut it out, it's really important. You want this to be a perfect circle. So try not and snip, 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 snip with the scissors. Try and do long cuts. So get your paper right in to where the join of the scissors is. So get your paper right in there. And if you do this properly, you should cut this out in about 5 cuts. Okay, so open it as wide as it goes. And as you're cutting the circle, slowly turn the paper. You get one nice smooth cut. Okay, so I'm not snip, snip, snipping. I'm just opening my scissors as wide as they go, trying to stay on that line. Slowly turning at the same time, you end up with a perfect circle. And this is going to be my 3rd cut now. Will I do it in 5? That's the challenge. Have you drawn around your circle? Have you drawn around your circle? Just with my scissors. That's 4. Oh no, I can't believe it. I'm not going to do it in 5. I'm going to do it in 5.2 or something. Right, there we go. No, 5.5 probably. Right. Perfect circle out of the cheap photocopy paper. Right, I'm going to give Alex the scissors now so he can get on with that. This is going to create a moon or a sun, whatever it is you want to be. And we are going to do that. We done this. Yeah, you did, Miss Gilmore. So you should be finished by now. Did you get on okay with the masking bit? Am I as good as Bob Ross? She loves Bob Ross. She's not answering me. She's too busy cutting out her circle. Right. Oh, Alex is going to snip, 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 snip. He's going to have lots and lots of jaggy lines in his circle. Remember to turn the paper as you're cutting. To be honest, that's not really a big deal. It's really, in the grand scheme of things, how you cut your circle out is not a big deal. Yeah, okay, good. You got on okay. Yes, I just corrected her spelling there. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, I'm just going to wait on Alex to finish that circle, because then I'm assuming that the rest of you have caught up. Good stuff. Now, apologies if you were not planning on doing a watercolour background. You are probably falling asleep right now. You love doing this at school. Oh, good. And you never got a chance to finish the end of it. So, Miss Sweeney, you'll get to do that later on today. In about 20 minutes' time, I would say. Yeah? Right, we've both got our circles ready. Now, we want to stick this on the paper. Now, see if you can see a problem here. The paper's dry, it's not going to stick. So, before we even go near any watercolours, I'm going to get a cup of water. And, stop it, we are going to saturate our paper so it's wet. That's cute. We don't make mistakes, we have happy little accidents. Do you know what? I love that phrase, I'm going to steal that one. And also, can I just remind you, if you do something perfect first time, chances are you didn't learn anything. Okay? Everyone needs to make mistakes to learn. So we're going to saturate this paper so it's wet. That will also help us with the watercolours later, because if the paper is wet, you don't actually have to add any water to your watercolours, because the water of the paper helps disperse the paint. So we're going to saturate this first using a sort of medium-sized brush. So I'm just going to soak this. Now, you have to work, with watercolours, you have to work quite quickly. They dry really fast, especially on a slight warm today, especially on a warm day today. So I am now just going to saturate with my medium-sized brush. I'll put the water down so you can do it, sweetheart. I'm just going to saturate this paper. Before you do that, double check you have got no air. All the paper, yeah, all the paper. Before you do this, double check that you have not got any air bubbles in your tape, because remember, if you do, it's just put it lip. What is an air bubble like? See, you're brilliant being here. An air bubble means that it's rise in your tape. It won't matter at the edges, it won't matter at the corners where it overlaps, but it'll matter on the border. So we have, Mrs. C has, it's got puddles of water everywhere. That's going to help with the watercolours. And now what I'm going to do while it's still soaking wet is stick down my circle. I hope you can understand me, by the way. When I listened back yesterday, I was mortified at how Scottish I sound. Oh my goodness. I know that I've got some people joining me from, that's crazy. I've got some people joining us from Dubai and Australia today, so they're probably going, what on earth is she saying? So sorry about that, right? You don't know the painter. It's Bob Ross. It's Bob Ross. Did I say it wrong? Oh, I don't know. Right. Anyway, soak the paper. I'm blethering again. I'm good at this. This is my forte in life as a blether. All wet. Now what I'm going to do is get my circle. And really important, you don't move this once it's down. Decide where you want it to be. I'm going to stick mine right over here on the right hand side. And just press it down with my fingers. If it doesn't stick, get a wee bit more water just to stick that down. You might be finding now that your paper's gone really bubbly because it's wet. That's what happens with paper. It absorbs water. It becomes... Yeah, put it right in the middle. Well, you can't put it in the middle because you don't put any water there. That's dry. Look, I can see it's not shiny. The thing with paper when it gets wet is it crinkles up because it absorbs the water. And... Oh. It's not... Right, sorry. She wasn't correct in the fact it was Bob Ross. That's a Bob Ross quote. I need to look this guy up. I've never looked him up before. Sounds like my kind of guy. Right, so we've stuck that circle down. That is not moving anywhere. If it's lifting up a little bit, put a little bit more water down on top. Right, I am going to have to speed up now because I did say that this water will dry really, really quickly and then my watercolours won't work. What I was trying to say earlier was you will have noticed that the paper has gotten really lumpy, really bumpy. That is the water doing its job. Don't stress about it. When it dries, it will become perfectly flat again. So don't stress if you've got lumps and bumps. Right, next up, the fun bit. We're over all the technical stuff, thank goodness for that. Gee whiz. Who says you don't use maths and other subjects, eh? Right.
Done.
Stop slamming things down. Okay. Watercolours. Again, if you don't have watercolours, do not stress about this. You can easily use something else, but as I said earlier, it needs to dry for step 2. So if you've used the thick type of paint, the runny type of paint, the tempered paint, you're going to have to wait for that to dry. So you might even want to pause this and come back to it later on once it's dry. You're thinking about the sky. I've got my picture here on an iPad just to show you. Alex, you really need to stop making all the background noise, darling. I know it's really tricky for you. What's wrong?
It's not in the picture.
I know, I'm just waiting to show you the picture. So this is my photograph from yesterday that I posted on Facebook. So I want you to think about the sky that's in the background. Okay, now skies come in lots of different colours. So use your imagination here, use your creativity. If you want to put a bit of pink in there, if you want to put a bit of orange in there, go for it. Be careful with yellow, because if you're good at your colour mixing, you will know that if you mix yellow and blue together, you will get the colour...
Brown.
No.
Oh, green.
Green. And apart from in the Northern Lights, I can't think ever of seeing green in the sky. Okay, so be careful if you're putting yellow and the blue next to each other because you will end up with green magically on your paper. Other colours are perfect. Alright, right, so now that I've been talking again, this is probably dried out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I don't need a lot of water. There we are, we're back. I had to put it in net connection again. You go bottom to top, you're going to lean on that, you're going to get paint on your clothes, it's going to smudge. Also think about the direction the sky goes in, the horizon line. Okay, so your clouds, your lines in the sky are always horizon. They're not up and down, swirling round and round, wiggling, wiggling, wiggling. They normally might have a bit of movement. They might have a bit of movement in them, but you shouldn't have a bit of patch there, another line there, another patch. Try and keep it nice and seamless. Am I able to watch this from the start? Yes, you definitely can. I will post it afterwards. Okay? And you can't find a paintbrush. Oh, for goodness sake, Mr. Williams. I don't know. Use your fingers. That was a joke. Don't use your fingers, you'll get messy. Right, so choose your colours. And because the paper's nice and wet, what you will find is the watercolours, as soon as you put them down, disperse beautifully. So you don't need a lot of water. Our watercolours are quite dry. Alex, there's a massive pat there that I've got. Especially the craft ones. Okay, use those. Leave little spaces in between your lines as well. Okay? Sorry about the noise. Leave little spaces in between your lines because they will act like little clouds in the sky. Okay, so go for it. And you'll notice on the page you've got beautiful lines. What are you asking me? Do you go over your circle? You go over your circle. Okay. You definitely go over your circle. Okay, get a bit of red in there. Look what's happening now. We've got purple mixing magically on the page. Go back to my blue. But you don't need it a lot. You shouldn't have puddles of water in your watercolours. Okay, you don't need it because your paper was nice and wet. Now, I can't really show you this because it's going to start dribbling down the page. My paper has dried out, and I know it's dried out because I'm seeing lots of little lines from the bristles of the brush. That means that this paper is not wet enough. So if you start seeing that, get a little bit more water on your brush and really, really soften that effect down. So Alex, you have got too many scratchy lines in there. Get that watercolour wetter. Watercolours, clue is in the title. Watercolours need colour and water to work. If you don't have enough water, you end up with scratchy lines and it just doesn't look very pretty. Nice. But when you're painting, just go left to right. Left to right, top to bottom. Left to right if you're a righty. If you're a lefty, you're going the opposite way around. One last thing I want to say about using the watercolours is that they dry really, really quickly. So that's a great thing. These are one of my favourite things to use in the class. One of my absolute favourite things to use in the class. You can paint without having any mess. If you are, oh well done, you're using colour crayons, that'll be nice. If you are at home and you hate letting your kids paint, I actually don't like letting my kids paint. It's over in 5 minutes. The mess they make is ridiculous. And then I have to clean it all up because they go away and leave me with it all. And then you've got all the palettes, all the brushes, everything. Watercolours are ace. You just need a brush, a little pot of water, and a little pack like this. And they're not actually very expensive either. £5 or something, which is great. And they last forever. These sets, I've had these since I started teaching. Oh, finally found a paintbrush. That's good. Don't worry. I'm going to let Alex keep going with this, so I'm going to blether to you while he's painting because I'm assuming that you're all working right now. Right. One thing I was going to say about the watercolours. No, it's okay. You're doing a good job. Just keep going. Just keep going. If it starts to dry, make sure you're putting the water on top. That's it. And don't keep going over the same bit again and again and again and again. Lay the colour down, leave it to dry. The paper at this point, as I've already mentioned, is very wet and bumpy and fragile. It's very, very soggy. If you keep destroying it by going over and over the same bit again and again and getting quite aggressive with it, it's eventually going to tear, okay? You're going to end up tearing a hole in your picture. So if you're looking at your painting right now and it's got little specks starting to appear, like little beasties or something on your page. Oh no, there's me and my Scots again. Little beasties all over the page. You don't want those. That means that the paper has gotten too wet, it's gotten too fragile. You've gone over the same bit again and again and again and again. These are not gouache, these are not thick paints. They are thin, they're meant to be transparent. They're meant to be quite thin. That's the whole point of them. So be really careful when you're using them. Right, Alex, you've got some lovely colours going in there, but I think your paper's become quite dry sphere because again I'm seeing lots of scratchy lines. So just soak it, really go for it. Now, here's my Blue Peter moment. Because I know I've got to work on this next, and I know, looking at it right now, it's going to take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to dry, and I don't have 5 or 10 minutes to dry. You guys do, because you can stop and look at the next bit. So, this was one that I created earlier last night. It is the one that I was saying you could do if you don't want to do it in A4 paper. It was just paper I had left over from yesterday's brilliant lesson, Primary 1 to 3. And look, when it dries, look at all those lovely watermarks. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's just happened naturally with the paint dispersing into another colour. So that's the sort of thing that you're looking for. By the way, if you didn't have, thank you, I'm glad you like it. If you didn't have tape, one thing, I should have said it before you started painting, leave a little white space. Don't go right to the edges. It saves you, A, making a mess on the table, and B, it gives you the same border effect. You need a bit of border space to sing it at the end. Thank you, that's so sweet of you, thank you. Okay, so don't go right to the edges. You don't need to. But if you are going to leave a border, try and leave the same size of border the whole way around it. Sometimes when you start up here, it gets wider and then it gets narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower. Right. If you are waiting for this to dry right now and it's got big, massive puddles in it, you can either get a bit of kitchen roll and mop it up, or if you want to blast it with a hairdryer, you can. Alex, you'll probably need to do that, or you can even just blow it with your ear. What I'm now going to do is I'm actually just going to put this to the side, and I'll need to pick it up again for the end, so you're going to have to use a wee bit of your imagination. So I'm going to move that to the side so that I can get my dry one in. Well, somebody's asking how I got so good, and I hate to say it, it's because I've been teaching for so long. I've had so much practice now. But listen, we're all still learning. Yours is really dry. Brilliant. I'm glad it's dry already, because you're going to have it dry for step 2. Alex's is really dry because he's not using enough water. That's not a good thing though. What happens if there is cracks popping up from the page? Do you mean you've managed to tear your paper a little bit? Or do you mean it's just bumps coming through from the table? Let's wait and see what Miss Gilmore means by that. I'm going to move this up to the side a little bit. Move that down there. Look at that. That's looking good, eh? I really should have used different colours for my second one. It looks the same. Right. Now, I'm nervous for step 2. No. Well, what do you mean then? I'm nervous for step 2. Because step 2, I am going to use Indian ink for. It is brutal. It's so messy. It's like a Sharpie. It doesn't come out if you get it on your clothes. It doesn't come out if it's on the table. Like, you think it's just dry. Well, that's okay. If it's drying, it's drying. Don't stress. But I thought you were using crayons. So why would the paper be wet if you were using crayons, Miss Gilmore? You're very good at typing, by the way. You're very fast. Ignore people that are messaging me right now. That's not actually anything to do with this. That's actually my family. Granny Flet knows that I'm not doing this right now. She shouldn't be bothering. I should be. Right, you are taking forever. He's a slow coach, is my Alex. Hurry up, get that bottom bit done. Perfectionist. Yesterday, Alex helped me. He didn't want to go for a walk with his dad, and he took part in the primary 1 to 3 art lesson that I said he would find too basic. Right, okay, that's fine. It's just drying then. So Alex yesterday took part in the primary 1 to 3 lesson. He loved it. He was so good. But my goodness, he's a slow coach. He's like his daddy. His daddy's an engineer, and they're absolute perfectionists. Whereas Harris and I, we're a little bit more, shall we say, expressive? We're a bit more messy. We just go for it. We just rattle through it and then live with the mistakes. Alex doesn't like mistakes. He's Mr. Tippex and Mr. Eraser. He goes through about a bottle of Tippex a day. Right, you need to get the bottom bit done quickly.
Oh,
it's really
fill that bottom bit.
Yeah, fill that bottom bit up, please. Okay. Righty-ho, let's start moving on to next 2. We are going to create, I'll get my second photo out for you to see. We are going to create the branches of our cherry blossom tree. Now this is going on top of the sky. But before you do that, if you did, there we go, there's the photo, so you can see it. Okay. If you did a moon, you will now have to take the moon off. Okay. Now ideally you want to do this when it's 100% dry. Otherwise, if there's big puddles of water next to it, it might flood across the moon. Actually, I like when that happens because it looks like a little bit of an atmospheric sky. It looks like there's a wee bit of a cloud in front of the moon or the sun, whatever. Some people don't like that effect, so don't worry about it. Great, yours is close to dry. That's brilliant news. Right, let's crack on then. So I'm going to pull off that little circle. So just use a nail if you've got a nail, fingernail, and lift up your circle. If it comes away easily, then that's brilliant. Look at that. I'll try and hold it up so you can see. So you end up with that effect there. Okay? Right, so you have now got your circle off, you've got your atmospheric moon. When it dries, it'll look a little bit like that. Okay, you've done a sun. That's fine, I said sun or moon, no biggie. Right, Alex, you are about to stop. And look at this, keep this. Keep that, you could use that for something. I don't know what, but you could use that in a collage or something, so keep that bit. Right, we're going to go on to the moon bit. Now, you'll be glad to know that at one point in this next couple of minutes, I am going to have to stop talking because we are going to blow. That's okay. Don't worry if you're still waiting on it to dry because I'm going to show you a wee demonstration while I'm talking. That'll be getting more dry in time. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you want to blast a hairdryer on it, go for it. Right, so I am going to create the branch now of my tree. I am doing it with some Indian ink, which, as I've said already, is absolutely brutal. If you get on your clothes, it will not come out in the wash, it will not come out of furniture, so get yourself covered up before this bit if you're planning on using Indian ink. If you're not, you can always use the black from your watercolours, or you can use sort of watered down black liquid paint. It needs to be really runny though, it needs to be able to move up the page. We're going to be blowing the paint so it moves. If you don't want to do that, if that scares the bejesus out of you, why don't you just draw a branch with Sharpie pen or any type of pen? Or you could do what we did yesterday in the primary 1 to 3 lesson, where we used a little bit of cardboard from an Amazon box or other retailers' boxes. A little bit chopped up like a credit card size, dipped it in some paint, and we just did lots and lots of wiggly lines up the paper. So it's up to you what you want to do for this bit. The great thing is with this, I'm giving you lots of options here, and at the end of this, when I get to hopefully see some of your pictures, I'll learn from this, because I'll probably see you using lots of different materials, and I'll think, that's great, I'll use that in the future. I'm actually very nervous about this because this is quite messy, so bear with me. Right, so we've got my Indian ink here. I'm dreading you doing this.
I don't want to use it.
You're using it.
No.
What you need to do is you can just straw. Okay, now just to save the mess, what to do is dip your straw, the end of your straw, into the Indian ink. Now at the bottom of your page, what you want to do is you want to have a puddle of Indian ink. And the important bit here is, it's not the size of your puddle, it's the depth of your puddle, okay, that matters. So size is not important. Size is not important, it's the depth of this puddle. So I'm having quite a deep dot there, and now it's time for the fun bit. Now, because of the virus, because of everything's happening, you've got one straw. Don't go and share it with people. You can't go and see them anyway, so I don't know how that's going to work, but don't share it. So Alex, you've got your own straw sitting there. Now, watch me. Now, no laughing as I do this. I'm going to get my straw. Do not put the straw into the Indian ink, okay? Because if it goes in your mouth, my goodness gracious me, you won't die, but you're going to look pretty awful, black ink all over your face. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have your straw quite close to the ink, and you're going to inhale, and then you're going to slowly blow all that air out. Now that puddle will start to move up the page. As it moves, move with it. Don't just stay in that position, because then the air won't move. So ignore me for a minute. Well, not ignore me, watch me for a minute, but I'm not going to talk. Alice, could you stop please? You're making noises again. Okay, so that's moving up the page.
Oh, it goes back in.
It does, doesn't it? So it's a bit more ink. This quality of this ink isn't as great as the stuff I have in school. I wanted to use a wee brush. It's not as dark as I've got lovely Indian ink that I've left in my school cupboard. I tried to go in and get it last week, but we weren't allowed in. So this isn't as nice as the ink that I have got in school. Don't know what brand that is, I better not name it. Well, that's better now. So I'm blowing that up the page, and the branches naturally get thinner and thinner and thinner. Take it right over the top of the moon if you can. Okay, you want to have a wee shot?
Okay.
Right, make a wee puddle at the bottom.
What is the sun?
Oh, you should have pulled the sun off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that should be off by now.
Oh no, that's ugly.
Oh, it's not ugly, it's beautiful.
Okay.
Don't put yourself down like that, please. It's all a bit fun. The thing is, if you don't like it, you can do another one after this is all over. Right, put a wee dot of Indian ink at the bottom of your picture.
Okay, like that.
And then blow it up. Go right up to the top of that line. Right up to the top of the line. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hello, Angela. How nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. You can join in later. Right, let's watch what Alice does here, because I'm going to have to learn from this. Right, I don't think you've got enough in your puddle. So put a bit more Indian ink in your puddle. Okay. Do you want to use the brush for it? No, you're making your puddle now wider. Remember I said it's not the size of the puddle, it's the depth of the puddle. So it's like that sketch, there's a comedy sketch. Is it Mr. Bean when he jumps on a puddle and it just looks like it's going to be a little shallow one and then he disappears? The water goes right up to his waist. Is that Mr. Bean? Do you remember? Right, try it now. That's it. Right, follow the trail of water. Well, it's not water, it's Indian ink. Follow it up the page. Keep moving with it. It's up here now, so why are you blowing down there? Blow here. That's it. Keep going. Don't suck up. Keep going. Blow. It's there now, so why are you way down here? Big puff. Oh my goodness. If technically, you're lightheaded, I was just going to say that. Does it need to be thick or thin? As long as it's runny. If it's too thick, it won't move. If it's too thin, the colour won't show up very well. So...
Can I use the paintbrush to go?
No, you cannot use the paintbrush. It won't give you a nice effect. Right, you need to maybe put a bit more down there. You've got a big puddle here though. That's it, look at that. Awesome. Somebody's just told me that they're lightheaded. Yes, this can cause a bit of a problem. So make sure you're taking breaths in between your breaths. And another thing that I just want to say is, if you're asthmatic, this might be troubling you a little bit, so just be really careful. Just be really, really careful. But take breaks in between. Right, I think I've got enough on it. I don't know if you can see that very well. I think I've got enough on it. It's not the darkest ink that I've ever used in the past. Does it need to be dry? I would recommend it being dry, because if it hits a bit of that wet watercolours, then it's going to mix in with the watercolours. But if you want to blast it with a hairdryer while we're talking, go for it. Or as I said, grab a bit of kitchen roll and mop up the puddles. Or try your best to avoid the puddles of the water. So this is us now. I think that I am enough. Get rid of that brush. Right, I'm going to pay some attention to Alex right now while you're all working, okay? Because he's troubled a little bit here. Right, don't let the brush get wet with water, because that's making that thinner. Don't. Right, wait. What are you doing with the straw? No, stop. I haven't asked you to do anything yet. Pay attention. I haven't asked you to do anything yet. Right, let's get a load of the Indian ink here in that puddle. Right, there you go. Right, now I want you to blow on that puddle, and as it moves up the page, move with it. Don't just stay in that one position. I'm going to watch what you do and help you. That's it, now it's moving, so keep following it. It's moving, so keep following it. It's coming up to here now. You don't need to start down at the bottom every time. Just start down at the bottom every time. Right, move up to here now. Keep going. Stop for a minute, darling. Right, there's some new stuff in the middle. Right, go. You need to move faster. Pardon you, sport. Okay, if you don't have Indian ink, as I've said, get some of your black watercolours will work fine if you've got the watercolours, or get some diluted down black paint. It'll work the same. Right, darling, see how it's moving? Like a river's moving. Mm-hmm. Keep moving with it. It's gone back in that puddle now, so move it up to here. Okay. Move your body up. Good boy, that's better. That's it, keep moving, it's coming here now. Look at that, look. Focus on that bit now. That's it, yes, you got it. Gee, we got there in the end. That's it, right, you're getting the hang of it now. Kind of getting a lot of body liquid, shall we say, involved with that Indian ink. There you go. Got the hang of it at last. Just experiment with it. If you want to go and get a scrap bit of paper right now and just piddle about on another bit of paper doing this technique, go for it. I have seen this on so many things on Pinterest. I've seen the head where you draw your portrait and then you've got explosions coming out of your brain. We in primary 5 have been brilliant at this, because we used this for our volcano pictures right back at the beginning of the year. We did a collage mountain, and then we got red paint at the top of the mountain and we blew it, and we had it in lots of different directions. So I have seen this technique like this. Your one does not look like a tree. Mine doesn't, to be honest, look like a tree either. It looks like a load of lines. So don't you stress about it. And anyway, it's not always about the end product, it's about the process, it's about having fun. Okay, don't worry about the end product. Just worry about having fun. And if you don't like the end result, once this is all over, grab another bit of paper and do it again. These two yesterday sat, I kid you not, for about 30 minutes after the primary 1 to 3 lesson. Don't do that. with chalks, they were doing space scenes, they were doing everything. So this is another thing that I am loving about this. Once you finish, you get in the loop and you've got the stuff out anyway, so you may as well just piddle about for an extra 30 minutes. So it's nice. This is quite technical, this is step by step, but after it's finished, just do an expressive piece of artwork. You know, just use your creativity or use some of the skills that you've just learned and transfer them in another way. Right, I think he's happy with that now. Are you? No, get the straw out of that. You're just scratching it now, making a mess. Right, grab me, Alex, could you grab me a bit of kitchen roll? Thank you, sweetheart. Because I've got a wee puddle in here that I just want to get rid of before I'm going to try and do it again on this. Just give everyone a chance to catch up. Okay, and if you're finished, then I apologise. That actually looks really, really nice. I've just mopped up a puddle here. Now it's made a nice texture on that. If you are in one of my other... In fact, Primary 7, they might remember when we did poppy pictures a while back and we added salt into those puddles and it absorbed the water and it looked like little stars. It was really, really, really beautiful. I don't think you've got any puddles. Right, I'm just going to show you one more time doing this technique because I think some people were struggling, and as I said earlier, I'm worried about the P4s because I think if Alex is he's quite a young Primary 5. He's one of the younger ones in the class.
No, it's like next year we're going to Primary 6.
Well, I know you're going to Primary 6 next year, but I'm just saying in terms of the class, you're not one of the older ones.
P5.
So I'm thinking if he's not got the lung capacity to do this and he's struggling a little bit, then maybe some of the P4s will be really, really struggling. So I'm going to show you one more time just on my A4 sheet of paper. So remember I said, puddles shouldn't be very wide, it should be nice and deep. Okay, so I've got my straw, I'm going to concentrate on that puddle only. And as the puddle moves up the page, I move with it. I don't stay in this one position. If you stay in the one position, it's still going to end up being a puddle. So watch what I do. Oh my goodness, this one's huge. I'm going to see if I can make it right up the top of the page. Yeah, got right up to the top. Oh my goodness, I feel dizzy. Right, Alex is looking at me with dread in his eyes now. He's looking at me with real envy. So this is step 2. This, by the way, this technique is not for the OCD perfectionists out there because I had no control of that. It just went. It just went. I don't actually really like that big blurb in the middle, but I'm just going to have to live with it. That's what happened. That's what I've been struck with. Right, next up.
Can I use it with my clothes?
No, not yet. Next up, we are going to do the final steps of our painting. We are now going to use some thick paint. If you don't have thick paint in the house, oil pastels will work the same, chalks will work the same, Sharpie markers will work the same, whatever it is that you have got in your possession, go for it. Can't wait to see at the end what lots of different things you have used. Thinking about the photograph that I showed on Facebook yesterday, wow, this has lasted 50 minutes, so this is actually in real time taking nearly one art lesson. So if we just have a wee look at this photograph, if you think about the way the blossom flowers are, they are a five petaled flower, okay? Really, really dark pink in the middle, and then it disperses out into a white background. Now, to be honest with you, you can do your blossom flowers any way you want. You can single-handedly paint every single one. That might take you a wee while. You can finger dot it, you can just splodge it, you can do it any way you want. You can add a little bit of yellow into the middle for the pollen, you can put little buds in there as well of the flowers, just you go for it. So I'm going to just use my thin brush, which hopefully is not covered in Indian ink. Alex, could you pass me another little bit of kitchen roll? One thing that I would say is be really, really, really careful. You've got a weird tree. Oh no, Alex, look, he's got a weird tree. See if you recognise that name. We can't say it out loud. It's one of your buddies. Someone's got a weird tree. And I'm wondering if this means that you're taking the time out of work today to do this. This is good therapy for you. Very therapeutic. Okay, gonna get going with the flowers now. I am just gonna, I'm running out of time. I've been talking way too much. So, thank you, darling. So I am just gonna clean your brush so you've not got Indian ink all over it. So I'm just actually gonna splodge down some colours. If you have got wet Indian ink or wet paint or wet anything on your page right now, stay away from it. I don't know your brushes. Play that. There's one there. That's a nice one. Okay. So I am now just going to pretty much splodge some white and some red paint. Now beware of any wet black, because what will naturally start to happen at this point is it will mix in with that paint, which has actually happened on mine accidentally. I was too busy multitasking again, looked up there, went right over the top of that wet branch. As I said earlier, if you want to single-handedly paint your flowers, go for it. What I don't like seeing is when people mix the paints, so they end up with this perfect pink, and they've got the perfect pink everywhere, because that is not what flowers look like. They are not a perfect colour all over. There's lots of different tones in there, lots and lots of different shades in there. Okay, so use the red, use the white, and what naturally starts to happen when you do that is you get lots and lots of little different tones and shades involved in that. It looks so much more natural, so much more realistic. Also, don't just, put perfect circles of blossom everywhere so it looks like candy floss. Just dab in the colours down. Alex, that looks beautiful, sweetheart. And this is quite a girly thing, so it's quite nice to see there's quite a lot of boys joining us today. Macho boys joining us today, who don't like flowers and stuff, and they hate the colour pink, so it's nice to see.
Like the colour pink.
You like all that? You like all? It's just a colour. You like all the colours, don't you? So do I. Apart from, I'm not massively keen on yellow, but I'm wearing yellow too, actually.
Yellow's MLG.
Yeah, it's MLG. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, I don't either.
You do so. You do so. It's MLG. You say that all the time. Right, okay, I'm just going to let you guys finish off these flowers, and then we're going to talk about taking the tape off, because we're actually nearly finished. As I say, just steer away from those black splodges. I'm really, really not happy with this big blob that I've got in the middle, but never mind. Who knows what happened. Right, I'm going to move that one to the side. I'm just going to work on this one while we are all talking. So I hope you're all having fun. I'm not sure what else is on the cards for today. We've got seesaw stuff to do. The wee ones are away out for a big walk with their dad just now. So we'll stop this. You guys are doing Lego challenges at the minute, aren't you? So they've got Lego challenges on next. Then we'll have a wee bit of lunch. Actually, it's nearly playtime. Oh gosh, I thought my tummy was rumbling. Have a wee playtime, 15-minute break, get a cup of tea, and then we will do some Lego challenges. I might let you have a wee bit of choosing time, and
iPad.
then we'll iPad time precisely. And then after lunch we will get going with the seesaw stuff. Mrs. Hodgkinson has put lots of stuff on for Alex today to do. More art, I noticed. Got to draw Leaving Castle. Primary 5 in Dumbarnie and Abernethy are both doing Mary Queen of Scots at the minute, so it's been brilliant, because I've been helping them quite a lot with this home learning, because, well, we've been doing it in class. So, yeah. Right, so. Oh, gosh, that went wrong. God. I've got paint all over my floor now. There we go. Looking okay, isn't it? So that's that long one, and then this is the A4 one. Right, I'm just going to take a wee second while Alex is finishing off. That is looking super, darling. Just have a wee look at the messages. Anyone struggling? You remember to do the blossoms? We did that. Yep, you did with you. Yep, you did that with me. We did primary 5. We're going to do these, and we were actually going to turn them into cherry blossom lanterns, but because of the virus, I wasn't in last week because I had a contagious child in the house. He's fine though. Right, let's talk about the tape coming off. Harris had that cough and cold, remember, so I had to take the week off.
I got it.
And then you got it, yeah. Right, we are going to move on now to taking off the tape. So if everyone's happy to move forward, let's go for it. If you need to come back again and check things, then you can. Right, tape. If you did the tape, no, don't just take the tape off. See, this is no patience. If you put the tape on the way that I asked you to, top, side, bottom, I am now going to ask you to take the tape off reverse order. So you will have to go bottom, side, this way, bottom, side, top. Now, when you take the tape off, this is brutally important, so you shush just now. When I take the tape off, what you need to really, really watch that you don't do is you tear it off inwards towards the picture. Otherwise, your absolutely amazing creation that you have just spent 50 minutes on is going to tear. So when you're taking the tape off, pull the tape at a 45-degree angle, slowly away from your picture. Really slowly.
Like this?
Yeah. The bottom bit's really easy to do because that's coming in towards you. But when it gets tricky is when you do the sides and top. That's beautiful, sweetheart. Well done. I love the orange in your sky. I'm going to show everyone in a minute once you're finished. With a clean finger now, you can touch the bottom of that paper because it's going to start moving about. And you're going to then take this side off. So I've gone from my right. And remember, I'm pulling it slowly, slowly and slowly. Slowly and slowly, the tape is coming off. I've got one side, I've got a tiny, tiny little bit of a water leakage there, but never mind. Don't know how that happened. Must have had an air bubble. Now I'm going to go with my other side. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Whoops, a daisy. Slowly, slowly. And then the last bit I'm taking off is the top. The top's a tricky one to do because it now starts moving about, so just hold with your finger. I'll trust you to make the needles off that. And now we end up with this gorgeous, gorgeous, perfectly. If you stuck that in a frame, that would look like a mount. That looks beautiful. So you've got your perfect straight edge there the whole way around your picture. And because we are now real artists, aren't we, boys and girls, you can sign your bottom colour, your bottom corner. Put your name on it. If you've got a signature already, rocking and rolling, sign it. So the bottom corner, like real artists would do it, not with a Sharpie, with a pencil. Yeah. Just give that a nice sign. And there we go. Voila, you have got your 2 versions of that watercolour branch. Now, I hope you've all had fun. I hope you've all managed okay. Who's angry? Someone's got an angry face. What's the matter? Someone's angry. Someone's just put an angry emoji on. Oh no. Where? They've either ripped their paper or they don't like something I've just said. No, it just popped up on the screen. Maybe it was an accident. Oh, I'm getting nervous now. Hopefully you managed okay with that. Please, please, please give me feedback at the end of this. Anything positive, negative. I found out loads of stuff yesterday that I did well. I found out some stuff that I didn't. I was speaking a wee bit fast at times. The Scottish accent was a bit confusing. I was tripping over my words quite a lot. I didn't understand about saying people's names, so therefore I've not mentioned you today. I've tried my best. I think I've slipped up once with one of you. And I also found out that, I wasn't holding up my paper enough during the steps to let everyone see. It's not the best angle where I've got the phone, I'm afraid. I should really have it above me, but then I've not got anything to do that one. So, love some feedback from you, positive and constructive. Just keep it clean. That's the only way I can learn to get better at this. It's all a total new thing for me. The other thing that I would love to know is what you would like to do next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I'm going to do Primary 4-7 art again. Is there anything you would like to learn? Is there anything you would like tips on? Is there anything you want to do? I wonder how you're all feeling about the amount of materials we used today. We used quite a lot of stuff there, lots of things you might not have in the house. So I might dull things down a little bit next week and maybe just do some simpler things. But let me know what you think. You might like using all these materials. One more thing I was going to say, and this was a wee extra thing that I just decided last night. Lots of you are making rainbow art just now to go up in windows, which I think is just a lovely, lovely idea. And later on in the week, I want to do it with the boys. We haven't done it yet. So I thought, well, if I'm doing it with the boys and girls, maybe you could join in as well. So there will be a very, very informal session on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. Somebody's wanting to do portraits. Yeah, I love doing portraits. Maybe we could do that. So this coming Friday at 10 o'clock, we will be doing another live feed. It's actually quite similar to this, what I was going to do with you. So you'll need masking tape again. You'll need, Mrs. Hodgkin sends on the, Alex, look, say hello.
Hello.
She's there. Got an angry face. We keep getting these angry emojis.
Hi.
I don't know what that's about. Hope I've not done anything bad. You're very, very welcome, my friends. So, yeah, Friday's lesson, back onto that again. Using a lot of things we used today, you'll need the masking tape, you'll need some cartridge paper, you'll need watercolours, and you'll need a brush. It's totally similar to this, so I hope you're not going to get bored. But the wee ones haven't done this sort of stuff, so they'll like it, the primary 1 to 3s. So please, please, please join in. Also, do you know what? If you're an adult and you just want to join in because you need a wee bit of therapy, here's a wee message for you. If you want to just do it just because you fancy doing a wee bit of painting, go for it, that's nice. Okay. Or if you're secondary pupils, go for it. Right, cannot wait to see all the photographs, cannot wait to get the feedback. It's now playtime in Casa Cochrane. So we are away to go and get a snack. The wee ones will be here any minute now as well to disrupt things. At least the cat didn't come in today. Lily would have liked, oh, I've said her name there. Somebody I know very well would like some cat. Get the hairdryer off. Honestly, I'm going to murder her by the end of this isolation thing. You like the tall one better? I like the tall one better too. I like the tall one better. I agree. I wouldn't have masked that though. That would have been too much to mask. I could blether all day to you lot. Do you know that? You're making me happy. You're making me busy. But I've got stuff to do. So I'm away for a cup of tea. Ali Bally, you're going to go and get a snack for yourself at the cupboard. And I will see you possibly on Friday. And if I don't see you on Friday, hopefully next Tuesday, we'll need to get our thinking caps on for another lesson. Right. Yeah. Who's laughing at you now, doing your clown act in the background. That's what he's like. Mrs. Hodgkinson thinks he's so well behaved and he's so quiet in school. Okay, lots of love. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay safe and stay inside.